Welcome back, you beautiful investors. Whether you're watching live or watching on the replay, thank you for joining me once again in this weekly communion that we have around here in the world of dividend investing. Well, investing in general. We're all investors. And I would like to thank you and welcome you back into my humble abode here to talk about a very interesting business that, man, I wish we would have seen this from MPW, but unfortunately we didn't. So before we start though, a couple things. It's the holiday time here in the United States. We just had Thanksgiving. I know a lot of you around the world don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So, hey, hopefully though, in the final month of the year here, so we're almost in the final month. Let's not rush it along. You'll Yeah, I haven't seen Matt. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to. For those of you watching on the replay, maybe you want to stick around for the chat afterward, but I like to keep you in mind and not keep you waiting around too long while we wait for people to file in here. Obviously, you can always go back if you missed the content. One thing I did this week, I bought 2 put options on Intel. So remember, we sold Intel. And then I actually, I'll show you the chart here before we get. No, we can do that later. I'll show you my reasoning why it's gone up too high too fast. But the one thing I want to remind you about options, all options contracts, whether you're buying or selling, it's a gamble. And the reason it's a gamble is because you have to be right, not only on price direction, but on time. So you're really constraining yourself. And the one bit of advice that I've learned throughout my many tuitions paid to the market is if you're dealing with options and you're selling options, you want to sell those kind of as short as possible. But if you're buying options, you want to buy them out as long as possible. Yeah, it costs a little bit more money, but you're giving yourself more time for the strike price that you wanted to play out and for that to hit. But I did it as a 1 week option and it was on Monday. It didn't work out. I lost like $12 total, but still for me, I bought a $42 put. Now I'm pretty damn sure that Intel will be at $42. I thought it was going to happen quicker. I could have sold for a small gain, but I got greedy. The pigs get slaughtered. So there we go. All right, guys. So, this is what it is. I'm sure, I don't know how well you can recognize CEOs. I was a little bit coy on the title, but Ivan Kaufman from ABR. So what's going on with ABR? Well, this is what's going on. They are a mortgage REIT, an M REIT. I don't know if Darth Dividend is going to stop in. From what I understand, it is his biggest position, but they had a little bit of an interesting thing happen. Viceroy Research, which if you remember, Viceroy Research, they were the ones that put out a short report, which you're going to see on the screen right here. They put this out for, I did it again. Hold on. Belay my last. Let's get you more real estate. There we go. This is what, there. I was almost slick enough. Almost. So all that a short report is they are looking for reasons that a stock or a business that the stock price is going to go down, and they're putting a bet on it. Remember, we talked about options. So when you have a put option, whether it's naked, however they're doing it, however they're shorting it, they want the stock to go down in price because the more it goes down, the more money they will make. But the tricky thing with options, and especially with puts, is that you're really limited because the most the stock can do is go to zero. So that would be, you know what I mean? But a stock can go up and never stop. It'll just go up and up. I shouldn't say it won't stop. I should say there's no ceiling to how high it can go. But there's a link in the description for this. And by the way, for those of you watching, tell me what Black Friday deals you've gotten, either on stuff you bought that's cool or on investing on stocks. What have you bought? What'd you get a good deal on? So anyway, this is their quick little report. And yeah, they obviously they call it slumlord millionaires. They're saying that their equity is zero. It's really bad, really risky, and they're insinuating and alleging that things are really bad with ABR. And if you go to this, there's a report down link and a spreadsheet download link. Let's separate those words, right? But the cool thing, and this is what I was looking for, is we'll start here, is that CEO buys, right? This is a website that we've found and we've been talking about where they show you when a CEO buys their stock in the open market. No options, no gifts, no grants, none of that stuff. So if you put in a ticker symbol, you can look, and they want to pay for alerts, but we'll do it like this. We'll do it the free way. Because why? The free way is sometimes the best way. But right there you go. They only show you when CEOs buy shares at market price. So that short report from Arbor came out. Here it is, November 16th, 2023. And check that out on November 24th. And actually just before it came out. So this is the ABR CEO and founder, might I add. He bought shares on the open market, 426,000. Look at the conviction. This is what I was hoping to see from MPW, is that before the short report came out, a couple days, a week or so, he bought $125,000 worth of his own stock. And 25 days ago, he bought $999,000 worth. But after the short report came out, Mr. Kaufman said, I ain't scared, bought almost $500,000 worth of ABR stock after the short report was out and to the public and made known. So really cool that he's been doing a lot of buying in the month of November, 3 separate tranches of his own stock. And obviously, if a CEO or an insider is buying their own shares, usually it means that they think it's cheap, it's undervalued, and it's going to go up from here. And obviously, you can sell for a million reasons. You can sell stock. So, yeah, just a couple more quick points on Arbor. They're down 17% for the past year, and past 5 years. What are they doing? By the way, I have a new MacBook, but we could talk about it. I didn't know you need the USB Thunderbolt ports, so I got it, and I was looking at it today, and I was like, hey, where are we going to plug my USB stuff into? ABR up 1.4% over the past 5 years. Or granted, this is not the total return. And then if you want some Seeking Alpha information on here, we'll just skim through this really quickly. If you're interested in ABR and you want to see the Seeking Alpha numbers, you can always pause the video. Almost a 15% dividend yield. During the last recession, they cut during the last recession. Their return was negative 96%. Dividend growth has been really swell. Look at that. The bee's knees, 15%, 10-year CAGR. Very fast, 16% 5 years. So, yeah, obviously rough times. Their deal with mortgages, right? And bridge financing, which I'm not entirely clear on what that means, which is why a little bit too hard for me. I won't invest, but I thought this was a really cool and telling thing when the CEO is buying. So obviously they cut that dividend all the way to the bone, but they've been growing it for the last 10 years and it's been uninterrupted. They do pay that dividend quarterly, $1.72 a share. And you can see a whole lot of dividend raises going on for ABR, but the environment may be different now that we are in no longer a zero interest rate environment. But the yield should suffice to say 53% above the 5-year average. Forward PE way below, been as low as $10 a share. And yeah, these are what you might be interested in. Warren Buffett always says, look at a business's yearly performance and then a swath over the past 10 years. So that's kind of, I think, why Simply Safe shows this. It gives you, kind of smooths out a lot of the cyclicality you might find within the year. Just like he says, See's Candy is a really bad business except for the month of November and December when they just make a killing. So you want to look year over year. But yeah, payout ratios coming up a little bit on the earnings. We don't look at free cash as they give that little blurb up there for mortgage REITs. A couple more here. We won't spend too much time because I want to know what you guys have to say about ABR. And if you invest in ABR, what do you know about this business? Are you scared? Are you worried? Earnings per share have been going up. Earnings per share growth trailing off a little bit. The shares outstanding. There we go. It is outstanding. They're diluting. So remember, with REITs, they dilute. They have to pay out 90% of their earnings, right, in the form of a dividend. So a lot of times they bring in more money to expand and grow the business. So if they're going to be diluting and adding shares, then they at least need to have their sales kind of following that same pathway, and not only sales, but the earnings per share, which they generally have been in that direction. So not too much to worry about there. And then, yeah, return on equity looking good, mid-teens. Net debt, 78%. They want to see that. They like to see it below 80%, set 78%, which has been kind of baseline for them. So maybe a tick higher. But either way, that is Arbor Realty. And I'd love to know what you guys think. What are your deals that you've gotten? What do you think? Do you think about when the CEO buys their own stock? How important is that to you? So, like with MPW, it was so telling to me that their stock was just getting hammered and hammered and hammered. And the insiders from the CEO down, they were not buying. They would not buy their own stock. And that was before the dividend cut. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, this, people can say what they want about like a Viceroy and Ninja and all these short reports that pop up. And, they could be a 20-year-old kid in their grandma's basement writing this report for all we know. But even if they're not reputable, it's something we still should be aware of and we still should look at. But man, when you see ABR and you see Ivan Kaufman buying those shares, I'm like, dude, yes, like that. I'm probably not going to buy just because I want to buy businesses I understand. Like we talked about on our podcast, there's an exploratory position I'm likely taking next week, and we can get into that in a minute. But yeah, for those of you that stuck around, awesome. I want to know what you guys doing. Yeah, it is trash. It is Arbor Realty, man. So do you guys own Arbor Realty? I'd love to know. Matt, yeah, you said this earlier about, have I seen the news about the Israeli cargo ships getting attacked or hijacked? I haven't. On Zim, it could get beat down. The cargo ships, like I remember this going back to my days of swing trading, like 2017, 2018. I remember those were some of the ones that would pop up on the radar, like I guess not Zim back then. They don't ring a bell. I think they're newer, right? But I remember like Diana Cargo was one of them. That name rings a bell. There was a couple other, and it was just really cyclical. I remember reading that and learning about that. Okay, well, there we go. Yeah, so Zim has been around since 47, but still, it's a cyclical business. They're going to have earnings coming up and go. You know what? While we're on it, let's take a look because I want to see that, you guys. Good points. I want to see that real quick with Zim because I think they did cut that dividend all the way to 0, did they not? Let's see. By the way, yeah, so this may be a little delayed with stuff. It's, help is on the way. I got the new MacBook sitting over there. It's all nice and shiny, and I was playing around with it. Very expensive piece of equipment. I almost feel like putting like the white gloves and I don't know, wearing a mask around it and like hermetically sealing myself in a dust-free bubble or something I don't know. But from what I understand, they're just really well made. So we'll see. But here we go. Zim. Yeah, no dividend right now. And I know they've, 13%. Or, yeah, it looks, they cut it, right? I don't believe they do have a dividend right now. Yeah, no dividend. But so they have been around since 47, but I think they IPO'd I don't know. I don't know terribly too much. But yeah, look at the free cash. I mean, 2013, negative a penny. And then you're all the way just low. And then it just exploded with COVID in the pandemic and the supply chain issues. $8, $43, $48. When you see that is so abnormal. Like that's going to keep, yeah, now it's coming down. I mean, it's still pretty good, higher than historically has been, even at $9, but what they expect. So let's see. Shares outstanding, only 120 million. So they haven't been diluting like crazy, but yeah. Sales. I don't know. I just wouldn't invest. I mean, it's so cyclical. I guess if you do invest, it'd probably be good to get when they're extremely beaten down. But I know a lot of people were chasing that dividend. I didn't. What's the return on equity again? I just talked right over that. Yeah, it just fluctuates so much. Like just, it's so hard to predict. It's a roller coaster, and net debt goes from 100% way down to nothing, then up to 80 and down to 11 because they get flush with cash and they just pay down a bunch of debt. Yeah, I don't know. It's not for me. So I don't know if any of you guys still invest in Zim. Coyote, man, you took your took your loss on MPW and bought bonds and CDs. Interesting that you're buying those bonds and CDs, man. Why? What was I don't really I don't dabble with the bonds or CDs, anything like that, just because, I at least want that price appreciation. From what I understand, there's erosion that happens from inflation. So even if you're getting 5% after inflation, you might be getting 3% real yield, 3% real yield, something like that, depending on inflation. Sorry, I know I'm going to get caught up to you guys. So if I skip over you, yeah, certified fine. I don't know. We're talking. We're shooting the S about it. I plan on going out there for my birthday in April, but we got to wait about another week because my oldest is in travel volleyball and she's getting the whole teams rostered and we're going to get the schedule. So we don't know those dates exactly yet. Charles, what's up, Charles? How's it going, man? Nice to see you in here. Bridge financing products to borrowers. Yeah, see, I don't, maybe I'm not smart enough, but the one that I did look into that I really do like that we talked about on the podcast was Case New Holland. Really interesting story they've got going on. We can get into it if you guys want to. But yeah, as far as like REITs and mortgage REITs, I think macro affects that a lot. I think the Fed, right? The Fed would really have an effect on mortgage REITs from what I understand. How's my sound? It's not too loud, is it? I tried turning it down a little bit here. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they're one that I would really need to understand a lot more about. ADC just raised the dividend. Now, oh yeah, we got it. There's a teensy tiny little bit of dividend news. We got 4-star by Morningstar. Oh yeah, dude. It was on Kevin's podcast, his live stream. We were talking about how you're the one that didn't like the lack of analyst coverage, right? Because when there is sometimes a lack of analyst coverage, there can be some gold mines, but you got to do a lot more work. There's a lot more digging to do. And I know Monster Beverage, they had very little to no analyst coverage back 15 years ago or so, right before they exploded. And then it's funny, like you look at the chart, as they started picking up more and more steam and notoriety, they went to like, it was like 0 analysts, and then there was 2, and then there was 5, and then there was 7, and then there was like 22. So it's kind of funny to see that you really could have gotten a good deal, but you got to do a lot more work. And, ABR is a hybrid. They're like the Priuses then. Yeah, interesting. Hybrid REIT and BDC. Okay, because they do the investing. I can understand that. Yeah, the Magnificent Seven. So that's you're speaking kind of now to the dangers of just the market cap weighted indexing, right? So when you have a market cap weighted index, the stocks that are bigger, when people just put in their money, you put $1 and you don't even think about it, then so much of that is just going to go to keep pushing those up and going right to the top and making those even bigger and bigger. But when the opposite happens, when we get the inverse and investors start sucking money out of those funds, if and when they do, then those could fall a lot harder and faster. Yeah, the Mag 7. AT&T recently, I don't know if they said anything about them. I mean, I can check I'll just see if there's news real quick. But yeah, as far as I know, the wonderful computer here, super slow. Yeah, I was kind of embarrassing. I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, where in the hell are we going to put these USBs? I don't see any news on them so far. In July of 2020, they said their deleveraging path faces uncertainty from lead cable allegations. We plan to hold our position. That was it. And they had a little write-up about that. But yeah, remember when that was a thing, the lead cables? What happened with that? Like that was all the hubbub. Now it's gone away. Nice. I like this color, Mark. Thank you. As long as there's demand for apartments and rental units, you're good with the ABR business model. Average cost of 11. Are you buying more, Mark? Are you going to? Nice. We got Pat holding 850 shares of ABR. Jim has got, more ABR shareholders than I expected. So what do you guys think? Like, does it give you the warm and fuzzies to see that the CEO of one of the businesses you own has been putting his own personal cash money in there? Cream. Cash rules everything around me, right? The highest price target is $28, lowest 16. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. Those are interesting. Hey, price targets are, it's subjective. I mean, anybody could just, wake up one morning and feel like 28, then 22 tomorrow, and 29, whatever they want it to be. Uh, Travis, what is that? Al's Barbershop. What's Al's Barbershop? Is that from a movie? I got to know, Travis. You like ABR. Okay. Steve doesn't invest in Zim. YouTube Bald Investor had a recent good video. Who's Bald Investor? Are we talking about Bowtie Nation? Are we talking about Joseph Hogue there? I don't know. Who is that? Let me know. Clue me in. I don't know who the Bald Investor is. Steve bought 4 Zim just for fun. John, you bought 4 Zim for fun. Hey, you never know. If that's what floats your boat, you don't go to casinos. Michael Anthony, it was ABR. I'm sure somebody might have filled you in there. It was ABR, their CEO. Thank you, Travis, for filling in Michael. Michael, you should go back, watch the beginning. I try to keep it quick, but yes. So it's an interesting thing. You can go onto, it's a little bit of a hack for CEO buys. They want to sell you the premium version so you can, they'll send you alerts every time a CEO buys. You can set whatever it does because they try to show like the longer you wait, the more people get wind of it and start pushing the price up following those CEOs. So that's why they want you to buy their product. What do you got, John? VLO, VZ, and KHC about to make a big turnaround. Hey, God bless you, VZ shareholders. I know I have exposure to them inside of SCHD, so it's good for me there and some of the mutual funds. But VLO, Valero, we've talked about Valero before, right? Buying more Nike. Yeah, man. You got those those shares of Visa. I love that. Nike too. Solid. I want to, oh, dude. Does anybody know this for Matt? Is there a mobile home park REIT? Dude, there's REITs for freaking everything. But off the top of my head, I can't think of one, but there's got to be one. Nike is one that I've been waiting to see Nike get low. I'm thinking back now when it was in the low 80s, like 82, and I was greedy. I was like, I think I'll wait for like 75. Should have just bought. That's one of the lessons Warren Buffett talks about, which, by the way, I'm really enjoying The Snowball. Fantastic book. I'm taking my time with it. No hurry to rush through it. I've been enjoying it, taking notes when I find something prescient that Warren says. But yeah, he talked about that one of the things. No, it was in his annual meeting. He wishes he would have paid up a little bit more for some of these quality businesses. He'll make a joke that, he didn't buy something because it went up an eighth right after he bought it, and then it just kept going up. So that's one of my lessons. I've been doing that with J&J a little bit. And yeah, maybe not an apples to apples comparison, but oh, nice. Well, there you go. If anybody's in North Dakota, I assume that's what that means. Check Travis out, man. What town is that in? I don't know if anybody hears. We got 64 people watching. Maybe somebody's, inside purchases, but 3 times in a month. That's an interesting take, Mr. Picard. I hadn't thought of that, but that's why I'm like, okay, is he foolish or fearless? Because it's looking fearless to me. And he may just be thinking like this is way overdone, but hey, and this is the beauty. We'll get to find out what happens, right? But yeah, I love to. Oh, that's the dude's name, Bald Investor. I have no idea who Bald Investor is. So I'll have to, I don't know. The only Bald Investor I was aware of right now is Joseph Hogue, that at least on YouTube. Vici, I bought another share of Vici. No ABR like Vici. Oh, lots of great news on Vici. Yeah, Vici Properties, Ed Petoniak, you always hear me say I enjoy that CEO. I think he's got a good vision, trying to grow the business, trying to expand, right? These businesses, their moat is always under attack. I don't care who you are. From day number 1, that moat is under attack, and you got to keep finding ways to fortify it, grow bigger. Hey, there he is, Kevin. I don't remember. if I jumped on last Monday night or not. Yeah, glad to have you here. Glad to have you. We did talk about you. There he is. What's up, Dan? So yeah, what Black Friday deals did you get? Again, whatever you want a gadget you bought. I don't know, but we're stock. Let's see. Mark's not buying any more ABR. Focused on EPD. Good. Yeah, I've been waiting for 25s for EPD. I don't know if they're going to get there, so we'll see. That's too nice, Teresa. I thank you for that. My wife would agree. Obviously, we actually just went out last night for our 18th wedding anniversary and 23rd anniversary of when we met. Kind of funny. So, yeah, today's the 26th. So on the 26th, we met 11/26/2000, and then we got married on 11/25/2005. So yes, we married 5 years later. So, but I thank you then, and she would agree. Thankfully. But enough of that. Enough of that. You can't rent lower than a mobile home park. They're going to be around forever. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point, man. I don't know. Does anybody know? That's you have given me, sir, a good idea that I need to scribble and scratch down. Mobile home park REIT. I'll be able to decipher that later. I'm going to look into that, man. I like that idea. This is why I love talking with all of you, because we get good ideas. VGR 20. I don't know what VGR is. What's VGR? It's not ringing a bell. What's that song about ringing bells? It's a 70s, right? Disco song. Ring my bell. Yeah, see, this is why I'm glad to get that new computer. So this is the last stream on this HP Pavilion 8 gig 8 gig memory, just not enough to handle things. What'd you tell me? VGR. Vector Group. Ay. Oh, it's a tobacco stock. Did you hear that? Did you catch it? Let's see. Here, everybody. I haven't scrolled down, but we will look together about VGR because I'm almost caught up to you dudes now. Hey, what's up? Leroy Skywalker, SCHD Stan, my buddy Craig in the house. Let's look together, everybody, at where to go. Vector Group coming at you on the screen now, like Ian Lopic does. Okay. Vector Group. Yeah, they give a safety score of 30. Unsafe. Did I hide your comment? I did hide your comment. Okay. Let's just, what do they do again? They sell cigarettes. What brands? Cigarettes under the Eagle 20s, Pyramid, Montego, Grand Prix, Liggett Select, Eve, and USA brand names. I'm not a smoker. I'm probably never going to be a smoker, but I've never heard of any of these brands. So I don't know if those are like the cut rate brands or what, but and they also engage in real estate investment, operate apartment buildings, hotels, and commercial real estate ventures. Hey, why not? You know, what do you do? Well, we sell cigarettes nobody's heard of, and we also operate apartment buildings. Okay. I guess if it works for them, but it looks like they've had, their recession sales were up. They increased the dividend during the recession, but big cut. I wonder what that was all about. They cut it just, before the pandemic. Did that get them nervous? So 80 cents. Let me just see a couple stats here. Dividend yields in line. What are they? $10 a share, 10.97. Free cash flow payout ratio. Okay, they were extremely high way back. I don't know. That's weird that gets me about the investing in businesses and or operating homes and real estate. Free cash flow. Let's see if they're diluting. Why do I have a feeling that they're diluting here? Yeah, slowly. I mean, it's not crazy, but so you don't want to see that when they're increasing the share count and then the total sales drops off a cliff. That's not good unless they made a bad acquisition. I don't know. That could be the case. They could have bought something and it just didn't work out and they had to do a bunch of write downs. I don't know. I really don't know anything about this business other than the numbers I'm looking at here. Yeah, just all bad return on equity, all negative. Return on invested capital looks good. Let's see, a couple more stats here. Pause it if you want. I don't know. This may be accurate, maybe not. Shows they have no net debt. So who knows? I don't know. Not for me. I honestly, I'd rather just stick with Altria if you're going to invest in one. But that's bizarre, man. We sell cigarettes. Oh, like Marlboro? No, Eagle 20s. Say what now? That from the 1920s? So yeah, interesting. There you go. We'll see if they increase. So you did say that they're gonna. Sorry, I just saw the shirt. Damn cheap shirts, and they stretch out. That's what you get. You buy cheap, you buy twice. That's what I do. I got to learn. You should not be cheap. You should be careful. Buy careful, not cheap. Buy cheap, buy twice. That's what they say. I get these. It looks so good when you're on the internet late at night. You're like, hey, I can get 6 shirts for like $50. It's like, but then you get them. I washed it 3 times and it's falling apart. And I'm like, yep, got me again. You got me again. You bought Nike when they hit 95. What are they at now? I don't know. You can see if I could beat you to it without throwing up on the screen. They are currently at 107. Yeah, that's probably fair. What a solid company. Solid company. Buying long-term, buy slowly. That's worked out so far with me and PepsiCo, thankfully. All right, Travis, there you go. His barbershop is in Bismarck, North Dakota. Too cold there. My grandpa grew up on a farm in Veblen, South Dakota by Waterton, I think. Too cold. The famous, yeah, he's with us. Okay, here we go. SUI. Oh, we wrote about them when I did the REITs. We researched over 100 stocks, quickly put it into a spreadsheet. So SUI was one of them. Interesting, but they're not pure play mobile homes. So cool, man. SUI. There you go. There you go, John, checking on that too. Sun Communities. I thought that was just like old senior communities too, but I guess it's all right. 35 states and British Columbia. Let's see what you guys are talking about. You're getting away from me now. I got to get caught back up. Why is ABR going down and the company been making profits every quarter? Yeah, that could be a short report, could be nervous sellers. There's a million reasons. We talked about in the podcast, Case New Holland. Very interesting, very, very interesting business. I think they've been around for a long time. A lot of moving parts to the story. It's crazy. So Ford had owned, I think, Case International Harvester, and then that they merged with Fiat, the Italian car maker Fiat. They merged, not Ford, but the Case New Holland business merged. And then it's a lot of, and then in 99, they combined with New Holland to give it the Case New Holland, but then this other company called Ivacor, it was spun off into, and it did buses and trucks, I guess, over there in Europe. And then they also did the agriculture and the construction equipment for Case New Holland. Just crazy, but they have a new CEO, Scott Wine, he ran Polaris for the last 12 years, and he's been almost 2 years now at Case New Holland, ticker CNH. CNHI? Oh, I should remember the CNI. No, that's the railroad company. CNH, Case New Holland. Very interesting. But one of the things that they're doing is, so they have like dual listing in New York Stock Exchange and in Milan. And they are delisting from the Milan Stock Exchange to only have the New York listing in America. So all the funds over in Europe that hold Case New Holland, they have that, all the European funds that hold European stocks, they have to sell because it's not going to be a dual listed stock anymore. So it's creating pressure. And Scott Wine, he bought almost $2 million worth of Case New Holland with his own stock. I was a subcontractor for Case New Holland in their Burr Ridge, Illinois facility. They moved out of it now, but years ago when I was there, it was nuts, man. They had, their tires on some of these farm combines and things were at least 8, 9, 10 feet tall. And I've just added a few feet there, but I'm 6'4", and I was looking up at the top of the tire, and it was wild, man. So interesting one. I am going to likely this week, I like the numbers. I like what I've seen, take an exploratory position. And what that means is I need skin in the game because otherwise I get too busy with things and I won't look, I won't do the research. But if I own a dozen shares or so of something that's not like Lockheed Martin, because that's uh, more dollars. I don't want to use the word expensive. I hesitate to use expensive, but I will. I'll buy that exploratory position and look into the business for a good, 3 weeks, a month, see how I feel, if I understand it, if I still like it, listen to earnings calls, read a couple annual reports, and do my own due diligence and go from there. But yeah, I call it the old the old probing, poke it with the stick, right? Impulse bought a year of lower priced version of Dividend Kings on Seeking Alpha. It was like $50. What is that? Oh, I don't know what the Dividend Kings is. That a group? Oh, by the way, yeah, Seeking Alpha has a Black Friday deal. I do have a link in the description below for that. 30% off. It's normally $269. I think you can get it for $167 for your first year. You get a free trial for 7 days. See if you like it. Oh, hey, I am an Apple shareholder through funds. I don't own them outright, but yeah, you're welcome, man. Whew. I upgraded it. I had a 10% discount for I found a veterans deal through ID.me. So I got 10% off from everything. It was like the whole Apple store was 10% off. And it was a good deal. So I think this thing was like $2,100. It's like I said, I'm got to get out the white gloves to work with this thing. I don't want to. PSTL. Interesting. Yeah, they own post office properties. I've done a video on them a long time ago. They just went public. They've been around since the 1980s, since the early 80s, I believe. But they just went public several years ago, maybe, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But yeah, from what I've seen, it was just okay. Like the numbers weren't great, but they do have a lot of post offices and I know I work at post offices all over the Chicagoland, southern Wisconsin, some of them, some northern Indiana areas. And yeah, they don't want to leave those locations. They have it set up just how they need it. So yeah, as far as recession proof, it could be. I don't remember exactly if that was like 100% of their revenue, but it would be a good one to look into. And since you were so kind to ask, Mark, and we're close to being caught up again. We'll just look real quick here at PSTL just to see what the good old SSD says about them. And then we'll jump at the little bit of news they had. If my computer allows it, don't speak ill of it. It's like, it's on its deathbed here. I don't know I think my daughter wants it, my teenagers, for something. So here we go. 50 borderline safe. See if we can find out why. Do they tell? Okay. 18. They manage over 1,800 properties leased primarily to the USPS. And I think they're fairly newer. Yeah. Since about 2018 when they came about, when they IPO'd, but they've been a company for a lot longer. Hey, Halloween, they went ex-dividend. Yeah, quarterly. So they've been growing it. It's been frozen for a little bit. But real quick here, yield is 27% above the 5. Yeah, we don't look at free cash for REITs. AFFO payout ratio, a little bit high. 92% they're expected the next 12 months. Remember, this is always a guess. The next 12 months, when you see forward, next 12 months, things like that, it's just a guess. Why? Well, they don't have the information from the future. And if they did, they sure wouldn't be making predictions on writing a column for a stock. No, they'd be playing the lottery or something. But AFFO per share, it's been flattish. It's just not exciting. Sales growth coming down. Now it's coming back to me. AFFO per share growth, just jack-o'-lantern. You got up, down, up, down. Sales going up. Yeah, they're diluting. They're trying to expand. They're bringing in more sales. That's what it is. That's what I didn't like. So we got shares outstanding. They're diluting shareholders. Yes, the sales. So you got more money coming in the door. But look at the AFFO per share. That should start really ticking up, and it's actually expected to decrease next year. So I don't like that. That doesn't give me the warm and fuzzy. That's kind of the trifecta there. I think if you got shares outstanding going up, you want to see this money coming in the door going up, but then also the AFFO per share going up, which this one it's not. Not very good margins. Free cash flow is okay. Operating from what I can tell. Net debt 42%. It's just okay. There you go. You can pause that and look back if you want, but I don't know. For me, PSTL, it's an interesting concept. Yeah, you look at thinking about post offices, but I don't know. It just looks meh. What is that? That's my professional analysis. That's the hard-hitting analysis that you come to the Dapper Dividends YouTube channel and live stream for, to get analysis of what I think about PSTL is, that's it. UMH is a mobile home park REIT. Okay, so we got SUI and UMH. Thank you. I don't know if any of those look good. Has anyone gone to the Berkshire Hathaway annual meetings? Dude, I would like to. I really should, but I haven't yet. I don't know. Some of our peeps on X have. I've seen that. But Guy, I don't know, man. Maybe I can. From what I understand, it's a pain in the balls to get a room around. Like, if you want to stay overnight, you're going to have to stay like 50 miles, 60 miles away. Something crazy. Just, it books up. If you don't book a room now, like, forget it. Or at the end of summer or something is, oh, look at that. Greg, well, thank you for making me feel a little bit like I have some semblance of what I'm talking about. Bad acquisition. They bought cigarette machines for their motels. Oh my God, dude. That sounds terrible. The more I'm hearing about VGR, the more I'm thinking this is a strange business. So that sounds like a harebrained scheme that they cooked up one night, over a few beers in a bar. I got it. It's like, cigarette machines for the motels. Why is a tobacco company owning motels? Well, there you go. That's probably what happened then. And bad acquisitions can really hurt a business. Just look at Altria, right? With Jewel. Realty income, strange acquisitions. Yeah, dude, that's interesting take. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm putting faith in Sumit Roy and putting faith in management that they know what they're doing, that they vetted this out, that they have some of the best people in the business that understand what they're getting into. But yes, buying a stake in the Bellagio, not a lot. It's what, wasn't it like 1%? It's going to be accretive or something to revenue. Yeah, buying that stake in the Bellagio, and then. But honestly, do you guys really think Spirit Realty was a strange acquisition? Spirit Realty looked very similar to Realty Income if I'm looking at it. John says UMH is not looking good. Okay, we'll leave those numbers for you guys to chew over. Oh, dude, I just went to Best Buy today. So, fun little story about Best Buy. So, you've been buying Best Buy the last week in SCHD. 17 degrees. Yeah, cold. Best Buy. I went there tonight. Did I say that today? Tonight. I went there today, and they I needed the USB, the Thunder port. I want to say Thunder Pants, but the Thunder port, right? I was like, it's like $24 on Amazon, and it won't be here till Saturday. So I was like, I'll just go to Best Buy and get one. The cheapest one that had the 3.0 USB ports plus an Ethernet was $99. And I was like, you know what? I've been doing it this way for so long. We'll just make it work for one more night. And I can't justify that. But yeah, CNHI, they do pay an annual dividend. So we talked about that on the podcast. And I'm not going to let that scare me off, honestly, because I'm trying to think of more of an investor, and it won't be, put it this way. Yeah, I may have been a little bit more swayed by a Realty Income and a Main Street Capital and a Ares Capital, because they are, well, not Ares, Main and Realty Income, excuse me. Those are monthly dividend payers, but CNHI is the opposite. Now I don't know. They got a new CEO. They may switch to going quarterly or biannual. We'll see. I know they are still considered a European company, right? Because they are headquartered in London still. I don't know if they're going to switch that. But if they are only on the New York Stock Exchange, which I think that it just said the New York listing. So I don't know if it's the NYSE. I assume it is. Yeah, that's they may switch that up. We'll see. Because I know a lot of European companies pay an annual dividend. Oh, there you go. Yeah, and this is good to know. This is why we love talking about this with mobile home parks. I see them all around. People just stay there and they're going to stay there. So, yeah, just because we see something and it's always around doesn't mean it's a good business. Like S Smart. What did Ash say? Shop smart, shop S Smart. I got to get the clip of that on there. Why does they make new lows all the time? Well, they've been in transition. They did some spin-offs. And like I said, that right now the stock has been getting hammered. They're down 36%, I believe, year to date. Deere is down 12%. But I think a lot of that is some of the transition that they're doing. And like I said, they are delisting off the Milan Stock Exchange. So any European fund that holds European stocks is going to have to sell between now and January 2nd. So that's going to put even more selling pressure on them. But yeah, honestly, like I said, I've liked the initial things that I've seen, that I've heard, especially from their CEO, but I'm going to try to always invert, like Charlie Munger says, and buy that exploratory position because I just like what I've seen. But like I've told you guys, dig into it. You got to dig into it and really try to understand the business, what you're buying. So that's my take on that. But yeah, I think that's one of the things. Plus, agriculture has been declining as of last year. From what I've read, there was a boom last year, so this year it's naturally coming down a bit. So, just people moving on. I think, I don't know. We'll see. Have I ever thought about buying FICO? I've never heard of FICO. Seems like it'd be a solid company, pretty expensive, but still a huge moat. What do they do? Not like the FICO score, right? Is that the same FICO? I gotta move. I wish my camera was higher. I look like I'm looking up here. Try to do like that. What is FICO? I gotta get caught up to you people, you folks. FICO is Fair Isaac Corporation. That's not the same FICO score, right? I don't know. The FICO platform. Okay, maybe it is the FICO score. Well, that's the only thing I know about them so far, but I don't know, man. It looks like they cut their dividend way down to nothing. Like, was there an inside joke I missed? I mean, I don't know. I guess this is boring for you people watching, but yeah, I just skimmed through real quick and it looks, well, here, I'll show you. What am I talking? I'll bring you guys along about FICO. I've never thought of FICO. I've never heard of FICO really as an investment. So there's thousands of stocks out there, but here we go to the top. Yeah, Fair Isaac Corporation, 26 billion large cap. So there you go. I wouldn't get scared off by this $1,000 a share. That probably means they don't have a lot of shares outstanding. But 92. Yeah, so they did have a dividend all the way up until, was that 2016 they cut, 17 they cut, and 18 looks like they eliminated it completely. I wonder why. Their free cash flow payout ratio is only 2% and 3%. That's strange. Maybe they just wanted to grow the business because look at the earnings per share, just sweltering to, not swelled. I don't know. I mixed up the word I wanted to use. Swollen. It's swole. Their earnings per share is all swolled up. Free cash flow per share, really good. Because they're buying back shares. You can see down there like mad people. Yeah, earnings per share growth, really good. Yeah, this is really solid, man. Shares outstanding from 36 million, currently down to 25 million. And you got to love that. So this is some of the best that you can look for when the shares outstanding currently declining, sales are going up, and then earnings per share just through the roof, free cash flow per share going way up. That's really solid. Let's just get a look real quick on their, ROE. Look at these. If a business is constantly giving you 19, 25, 30% return on, okay, they were negative in 22, but that's the norm. Like, that is solid. Chances are they're going to keep giving you that solid return on equity and grow the business, growing your money. Yeah, return on invested capital is awesome. That's the capital available to the shareholders have put in, and also the debt as well. So what they're using the debt and shareholders' equity to do with the business, nice. Operating margin. Yeah, just a solid business, man. I know they don't pay dividend, but And I don't think this is accurate. I don't, unless they did pay back all their debt. Yeah, I don't think it is. So you got to be careful. Take these third parties, you know, with a grain of salt. Always verify with the SEC documents from the horse's mouth. But dude, now I know not a dividend stock, but hey, we're investors here, and that looks really, really solid. So yeah, and as far as expensive, I don't know. I guess we'd have to look at that because like the air fingers quote expensive, it may not be, right? Meaning when we did the example for Berkshire, showing that if they were right tomorrow morning, if all things remained equal, Berkshire opened up at $400,000 a share. I think people would be just taking out second reverse mortgages. They would be whatever they had to do to buy shares. I mean, then it would be pretty undervalued. So it's just because they don't have a lot of shares outstanding. I don't know how many shares outstanding. We didn't do the news. It was two things. Hormel raised their dividend, and they reaffirmed the score on UGI. That was there. You go. It was only two little news bits. Was that we were looking at FICO, ticker FICO. I'm gonna get caught up to you people. Good. Look at all this chat. I love it. I love you guys talking about. I wonder who is going to take over after Warren and Charlie Munger aren't around anymore. Yeah, I think Jim's right. I think they did task Greg Abel, but you know what? He's so entrenched from the way Berkshire runs it. He's got enough money. He does this because he enjoys it. So Warren and Charlie have often said that they've set Berkshire up that it currently doesn't need a lot of like input from the top, meaning like from them, it can almost run autonomously, which is why they're free to just play bridge and do things like that. But yeah, as far as they say, don't worry. They say not to worry with Berkshire. It's just going to keep running. And I think that's one of the bulwarks bulwark. How do you say that word? That they've kind of built into the business is letting all of the subsidiaries run themselves autonomously. That's one of the things Warren has always said. Like, you know how to run your business. You built your business. You know how to run your business. You're running it really successfully. Come be part of the family, and you will keep running your business how you want to run it. I'm not going to tell you how to run your business because nobody knows about your business better than you do. So I think that's kind of interesting. But if tough times hit, then they have the parent there that they can help patch through and whatnot. And, it's anyway. Yeah. So it's a whole thing. So yeah, Buffett's not. So isn't that funny? I call BS. I call shenanigans on my favorite quote that I see every day, where Warren says, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." Well, he's found a way to make enough money while he sleeps. He could sleep for the next probably 17,000 years and have enough money, but he just loves what he loves to do. Yeah, Matt, he's like the Pope. Well, FICO score. It's got to be the same one, right? That's really interesting, man. I like that. Yeah, going back to the beginning. Frank, thanks for checking in. We love that. We love that. Yeah, CNHI and Stellantis are annual dividend payers. Yeah, and for some people, that's going to be an automatic deal breaker. But what's BMY? Isn't that Bristol Myers Squibb? All right, John, I'll tell you what. We'll pop on BMY really, really quickly well, I can't look at two. I'd rather look at Comcast because the thing with the pharmaceuticals is that because we don't know what's going to be in their pipeline, we don't know what pipeline drugs, I should say, are going to be the next blockbusters. I know that I don't remember if they had any patents expiring, any of the patent cliff like J&J did with Stelara, AbbVie did with Humira, which is I forgot what disease that does. I get them mixed up. But yeah, the patents expire, and then you can have biosimilars make the biosimilars, I guess to say, the knockoffs. But some of these drugs are, what I understand, really expensive to make. So it's not like, we're going to be making it in our garage or something. You still have to get FDA approval. I almost said FTC, but Comcast, I think, is solid, man. We'll really quick for you guys. I mean, lightning fast here, John, for Comcast, because I don't want to take up too much more time. time. Sorry, I didn't want to start singing the Rolling Stones. FICO, I like it. Fair Isaac, man. Don't pay it. Maybe someday they'll pay a dividend. This should be the last time we deal with this whole. See how it just takes forever. It's just this computer can't handle the data, and I've tried. It's old. Yeah, Comcast is probably another. I don't know if I should just throw all my tea into it. It some days feels like that, but let's see. Yeah, they've increased the dividend for a while. 14-year streak, 13% 10-year cat, just real solid. 7.4% increase last 14 years. They've grown it. Getting ready for another increase here next year, early next year. Dividend yields 28% above. So I'm going to go really quick here. So if you see something, pause the video later. Free cash flow payout ratio, super low, super low. That's really good to see. Earnings per share, free cash for generally up and to the right. Moving quickly, they're buying back shares. Still 4.21 billion shares outstanding. That's why it's, 30, 40 bucks a share. Total sales still going up and to the right. That's nice. Yeah, return on equity, mid-teens. You like to see that. Return on invested capital, steady Eddie. Yeah, nice margins. Yeah, good margins. I'd have to look at the catalyst. I don't remember exactly what. I know they're losing Hulu, right? I think they own part of Hulu with Disney. 54% net debt, slightly high. Like to see the ICR a little bit higher, but yeah, not bad. I mean, solid. I'd much prefer them over an AT&T, quite honestly, for them. But Stan, oh, okay. I didn't even put that on, but yeah, so I love it, dude. I love it, dudes and dudettes and all you people. And that's, I don't know what to end with, but I don't know. It's Sunday night. What are you guys going to do for this next week? What is something you're looking at buying? Hit me with it. Throw it up on the screen. If you've been watching, you haven't said anything, just type out one of the things you're looking at. What's on your Christmas wish list? What do you what do you want Santa to bring you? Check this out, this shirt. Let me find it while you're putting that up. I love it. I love humor. You guys know me, but this shirt that my wife found, I think you guys are going to get a kick out of it. It's a Santa Claus shirt, and you may have seen it. And let's see. I can't talk and type, so I don't want to give it away. Okay, we'll bring that. I dig it. Dig it. Maybe get this a little bit bigger. So when we do bring you with all you fine people with. All right, here we go. We're almost there. All right. This is great. I love this shirt. This is fantabulous. So this, ladies and gents, is a fun little shirt of our friend Santa Claus, who sees you when you're sleeping. He sees you when you're sleeping. Yeah, that's me. It's creepy, right? There he is, just Santa, mouth breathing on your window, watching the children sleep. Get out of here, Santa. Yeah, I love that shirt. Good stuff. That one made me laugh. That gave me a chuckle with old Santa Claus. Oh, really? Joseph Carlson talks about FICO. Well, good on Joe Carlson. I've lost track of his channel. Honestly, I'm the worst. Kevin, I make a point when I can to watch yours. I get knocked down and I get up. No, I get so bad with keeping up. Before I started doing the content creation and research, I used to watch just a lot. But as I've developed my own style, I've lost the time. And my family and just everything. I just can't watch YouTube like I used to. So there we go. Real quick. So this is what you guys are buying. Okay, good. Still DCing into Hershey. I like it. Tractor Supply Company, very solid. Wish I had bought into them years ago. What happened to Hormel? I don't know. They actually increased their dividend, right? So they just increased the dividend. I think they'll be okay for a while. Might be meat, the meat market, things like that. Travis, you and me both, buddy. I was wrong with that one as we opened the channel up or opened the stream up with. Yeah, I think Intel is going to go down below or around 42. I'm pretty convinced of it, but I was wrong on the time. And if you're buying those cash secured puts, give yourself more time. I would go at least a month out to give it time to play. It's going to be more expensive, but um, hey, you know what? That's the problem with options. You have to be right on both direction and time. It's a tough game to play consistently. And then Rick's still looking at Pfizer and FHN. First Horizon. That's a bank, right? I think it is. So you sold it to nice. And the last one, John, SPGI, S&P Global. They looked solid. I know they're a dividend king, I think, right? Similar to FICO. I don't know. They might be. I'd have to look into it. I know S&P gives us the S&P 500. They track that interest and what. And my buddy Craig bought Deer. Gotta have you on the channel to talk again, man. That was fun. That was a good time. Hit me up on Twitter. We should talk soon. Bought a share in the dip after the earnings of Deer. I'd like to hear that. Nice. And last, Craig, Texas Roadhouse and Starbucks to come down a couple bucks. You know, don't make the mistake I did and Warren Buffett did too. If I can be so self-aggrandizing to lump myself in with the greatest investor of all time. Just, hey, like I call him up, me and Warren, don't be afraid to pay up a few bucks for something that's really solid with doing that. So with that, everybody, dude, thank you all for swinging on by the channel once again. I really do appreciate it. You know me, kid of the 80s. Kitty of the 80s? No, I'm a kid of the 80s. Grew up with Pee Wee. I miss Paul Rubens, but hey, it's going to be the end of my show until it's not. So all you guys, thank you very much for participating, sharing your ideas, and y'all come back again now. You hear next time. So long, everybody.